I also like to start my readings with a little short piece called Icarus. We all know the story of Icarus. In life, there is no safe word, only the rush of terror as the world falls away and the fiery sun grows ever larger. Between the beat poets and the hippies, there was the Berkeley poets. I started in the early 60s, and in the last couple of years of his life, I took care of one of the Berkeley poets. I didn't actually know he was a Berkeley poet. He was just this codger across the street who was starving to death, which I couldn't abide by. And a week before he died, his name was Gene Fowler, for those of you who might have known him, was his 82nd birthday, and I got really drunk that day and threw him a party. And this is the poem that came out of it. He died a week later. It's called The Semiotics of Silence, and Katie knows this because it got published in the last issue of Transfer magazine. Poets dance in our dreams after the bars close, their naked feet slapping out a rhythm to keep us from slipping into sleep. I'll remember you as you were there then, a birthmark in my brain, sitting near naked, propped up at your dining room table, not like we found you, a turtle trapped on your back, crashed up against those free weights, crushed beneath the ancient bench press, thinking you were still a prisoner, your pale, old skin already deathly, sickly cold, gray straggling hairs stuck wetly to your forehead, yellow teeth like broken barnacles spitting out poems, or just drooling in time to some secret rhythm. Yes, we propped you up in your chair so we could share ice cream and cookies and wine on your birthday with a candle and a song and shitty diapers beneath the skimpy black briefs you still wore at 82. The room's light was as yellow as your teeth, like an exhausted wave drifting on a dead sea, hurt and or damaged, the connection lost to all articles, like bullets, like sperm, like everything old was a child. When discos looked to mirror balls and brought the sun indoors, like a golden Abyssinian points in the darkness to night everlasting, the dull earth radiates coldness and the scent of everything long past. St. James the infirm or brother denied rings random moments without meaning. This was always coming, this future, built of fire on the wreckage of the past. Words without end. A week ago on Facebook, is that Glenn? A week ago on Facebook, I was writing about the transience of fame and poetry, and Al Young, some of you may know, had posted something which was a cute matchbook cover saying, make big bucks, write poems. And I got to, posting back on his page, and I said that there was a poet that nobody knew that died. Nobody even seemed to know when he died. And A.D. Winnan wanted to know who it was, and told him it was Gene. And A.D. was shocked because he didn't know that Gene had passed. And Al was shocked, and they both kind of went into a dark place. And I wrote a poem about it called Traveling Companions. The electronic doorbell binged, and there stood death. And two old poets, dumbstruck at death, announced, "Today isn't your day, but your day is coming. Tell us something we didn't know," the old poets laughed as their eyes drifted down to the burden death had dropped at their door. Then they bowed their heads to allow great sighs to escape, wet tears to fall. "I didn't know he was so close to the end," said the slightly younger poet softly. "He was our friend, our companion. We loved him well," said the other. "His words were strong, his vision clear, but now he's gone," one intoned. "He was a master wordsmith, a stalwart fellow," the later affirmed. "He wrote such tales as must be told," both poets insisted. And so this went on long into the night, each poet pointing out the merits and faults of the man deceased, and whiskey flowed along with their words until even death, waiting as patient as only death can, slipped into sleep. When the sun came up, sleeping death and the old poets, deep in their cups, still wondered how it was they had allowed their old friend to slip away so quiet into the endless night unnoticed, unmourned. Death awakened, gave them the answer. He took to hiding in dark rooms with the lights turned low, said Death. His curtains drawn tight to keep me out of sight. He only wished to keep the world away, said the old poets. We know his loss and sorrow, said one. I feel it so myself. We are of yesterday and fit not for this day nor the morrow. We were once so fierce to fight in love and life, recalled the other wistfully. Yes, but I'm tired now, and with so many who have gone on, his voice faded. They have could have passed on too, unable or unwilling to see the future. You fought your wars, now it's time to rest. Let me take you home, said their old friend Death. And childlike, they each took a hand and walked by his side, paying no mind to the arcing sun, riding high in the sky, engaged as it always is in day's ancient war with night. This also wrote last week. It's called The Game, and it needs a lot of work, but you get the first draft, guys. If the Joker lit a fire, it would burn for the Queen of Flames with wands and swords and clubs uprising to fight the heart's first impulse. Desire for the sensuous slide, skin on skin and speaking with different tongues, sibilant and slippery and sucking sounds. Such sweet succour as this hot heat of moment, of movement, of emotion, arcing out the distractions, zeroed all the trivial worlds, jettisoned, noting nothing, no hesitation. This is it, this deal dealt, this time, kindling for all that might combust, oxygen, energy, and opportunity. A window briefly blown open, exploded for a hurricane, a god, a spark to leap upon, regenerate, dependent upon it, upon such chance, upon such card drawn, jack or king, or numbered figures lined up for the grand or sad procession. Mark your spot, make your mark. We'll march into history straight or paired, flushed or bust. Everything rides on the next card. Go ahead, throw away your hand. No telling what fills the future, or all the different lies in the past. Ante up and make one more wild draw. No second guessing second chances. Bet it, each and every single second. I teach creative writing in San Francisco's jail's reentry program every Friday and Monday. And the reentry program is for prisoners who have been in for a while, who are about to get out. The last 6 months of your sentence is spent in the jail you were, in the county where you were arrested. And you all know that there's this new program on TV called Orange Ain't the New Black. So I wrote a poem about my experiences and those. Orange ain't the new black, motherfucker. Those aren't your new friends or even theirs. There's no culture in these locked rooms. There's nothing to enjoy or admire here. This bullshit glorification of prison nation. Just another corporate toxin, a creep sneaking into the community corpus. A social psychic infection. Seems us U.S. got the disease that's fatal to freedom, breaking up families and harming children. Kids who can't see their daddies, who miss their moms. The thing is, this is not a bug, but a feature, a self-perpetuating incarceration machine with gears so finely adjusted, you might not notice. They're just feeding on our fears, pandering to our paranoia, making sure breadwinners can't get jobs, or ahead, or even. In this real world, jail food ain't catered. It ain't even real food. It's just more white bread and bologna served cold by the monster mobsters of ARA, grifting government dollars for unbreakable trays. The sort of crap that ought to cost 50 cents, but it's your tax dollars, so 50 bucks we pay, while kids go without books to school, and the classrooms remain unheated. The jail cells and pods are steamy toasty, so your bright orange t-shirt matches those screaming orange socks inside your orange plastic shoes, your permanent sealed plastic bracelet, also orange to match your Mr. Floppy caution-colored pajama pants,
such as some Hollywood star might wear while shopping in Paris or London or Rodeo Drive, if this were raw silk hand-sewn by Christopher Rayburn rather than just crappy cotton sewn by some sweatshop serf. Watching pretty actors emote for the little big screen ain't nothing like watching tattooed jailboys size each other up, figuring out who they could take, knowing there's no one here to trust. I saw a tattooed hard guy break and cry because his baby mama wouldn't answer the letters he wrote. He hadn't heard a peep in nearly 9 months, and him struggling over each and every word like a poet might, if that poet could just barely read and write. Remember those school children without any books? It's a feature, not a bug. It's designed that way. The only book he got was the one thrown at him, keeping the system fed in court that day. 3 to 5, out and 2, a full 5 or more if he plays the fool. But what he says is he's learned to live inside. It's going back to the streets that keeps him up at night. What keeps me up at night is knowing I'm afraid one of these men is just looking for a way to spend the rest of his days locked up tight, because there's no one or where to go, no jobs for cons, no work, no money. No wonder they wind up back inside. We're all getting used to the heavy steel doors that close with a thud you feel more than hear, locked up tight the stark, empty corridors that echo when you walk, while 1,000 cameras watch. Despite Miss Dozell, no one's passing. It's designed that way. It's too easy to get used to waiting for the man to let you in or out. You can't see who's watching who on all those screens, who's flipping those switches, shutting down the system, or setting you free. The watching man made sure nothing happened. Make sure that nothing happens. Making sure that nothing ever happened. It's a feature, not a bug. It was designed that way. Orange is not the new black, motherfucker, although this black is what the future starts to look like. Not the darkness of not knowing, but the stark realization that the man's got a plan and you in it. A deep mumbling hint that you too are redundant. More fool fuel than fuel user in this full-on orange future they have planned for each and every one of us to come color coordinated. These are not the colors chosen for your season. Orange wants to be the color of this and every future season. This is a season that could easily last forever, but orange is not your favorite color. You never look good in it. It hints and tints and stains and casts its pall over all and everything that gets locked up and away, far from the family who might save you, from the so-called friends who betrayed you, from the sons and daughters who are ashamed of you, from the husbands and wives who say they don't really know you. No, orange is not the new black. It's the new goddamn nightmare. You best to fuck wake up. I worked in San Francisco, and I'm living in Berkeley, and I've watched the real estate boom. I remember Alvin Duskin in 1972 telling us that if we didn't stop, San Francisco was going to turn into Manhattan, and it has, and it's happening everywhere, and we're all getting evicted. So I wrote a couple of poems that I'll finish out with that I think you'll enjoy about that. This one's called Trojan Horses. It was just published in River Battle. Cranes like Trojan horses, 250 feet tall, moved their legs slowly, hoisting thousands of tons of steel, piling up neighborhoods too high in the sky, ripping out old neighborhoods, ripping out old neighbors too. This bright, shiny future, everything fresh and new, with its new world odor. There's no place left for the likes of you. Seems there's no place left for the real sense of folks like me and you. You know, watching the Kraken in Frisco. By the way, this was based on a
poem by Nguyen Tre, the 16th century Vietnamese poet. I love that he used the word kraken. The dot-com boom made me homeless. They rented my shitty apartment to some asshole who works for Google, but she never sleeps here. Now I seek my dreams in the shelters or on the streets. But if I don't get there early, the beds are already assigned, and if I do get there in time, some poor thief steals my shit while I sleep. If America wants to live in the first world, we should build a society that uplifts the downtrodden. Otherwise, we'll snatch your purse, smash your window, kick down your door, stove in your goddamn head. Even the poor have to eat. I was a journalist for the San Francisco Examiner for a number of years. I did a lot of stories on homelessness. And if you think that the shelters are safe, you are wrong. People get killed in the shelters. And most people are afraid to sleep there. And if you think that only men are homeless, you are wrong. I've been out at night, and the streets are full of women and old women and the vulnerable. The last song I wrote for Tenants Together, which is a organization in Berkeley, they asked me to do an invocation, and I wrote them a closing song for a big convention they did down in San Jose. This is called Rent War Celebration Song. Just us, each one and all of us. There is no justice without us, each one and all of us. Just as there is no town or city without its people, each one and all of us fit together to make this particular puzzle. Without you, there is no home. I got lost on that. Without you, there's no home. Just a deadening box without a soul, and our wondrous and various strange incarnations. We create this magic by bumping up and awkward all against each other, fitting loose and tight and barely, to make a place, our place in this mess. This is what makes a community special. This is what makes a neighborhood home. Without such a place and the people in it, we are merely organic machines, little folded bits of plastic. But this isn't us. We believe in a better future, a place where you and your lover, every mother, every father, every child, can live a worthwhile life, a healthy life, can claim a space, create a place called home, where we celebrate our differences and honor our similarities, where we struggle with our demons and dance with our better angels. Because every one of us deserves such sanctuary, has a right to this place called home. This is a human right. We will fight for this right. We will organize. We will do this for our whole human family. We will stand strong and united. We will not be divided. For each of us and all of us celebrates this commitment to justice. There is no justice for any of us if there's no place of justice for each and all of us in a place called home. Thank you.